Hi, fellow classmates, instructors, and friends. This is Ginny, your humble TCM student who knows absolutely nothing about this field, but wanted to start this audio journal to record everything TCM. If you would like to join my study group as well, please come learn with me. And let's get healthier by healing our bodies from the inside out holistically together. Hey Kuko fam, thank you so much for tuning back with me for another study session. Today we're going to jump right back into talking about acupuncture with Desiree for part 2. And last episode, we kind of ended off with discussing the introduction of cupping and the benefits that it provides. Today, we're actually going to jump into another section of cupping because I have a very curious question on this specific type of cupping for your face. And Desiree is going to break it down for us once again. Today, we're also going to go through some cosmetic acupuncture, which has become popular. She has mentioned that celebrities such as Katy Perry and Lady Gaga has even tried it themselves. So if you want to get a facelift or have no wrinkles, or less wrinkles, shall I say, then please stay tuned and find out how we could achieve that without plastic surgery. Lastly, don't forget to listen to all the way to the end of this episode. I guess you could fast forward, but please stay tuned till the very end because I am going to make an announcement on a surprise I have for you guys. So please stay tuned on what that would be. Okay, so I also have to say, I've been seeing something online recently and it's become quite popular, and that is facial cupping. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's like this plastic little tube and there's like a suction thing at the end and you could suck out the air and then you like suck it on your face and they move it. I mean, I have to say not everyone can do it, right? Like, don't you have to move a certain way in order to do it? You can't just cup your face just to cup your face. You know what I mean? You got to have a technique.
Yes.
Like, I find that kind of strange on how people are selling it, but perhaps people don't even know how to use it. Like, is there a wrong way of doing it? Is there a right way of doing it? Can you do it wrong?
I mean, no, you can't really do it wrong. And I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the facial cupping sets that are being sold. The ones that I'm seeing a lot on Amazon are, they look like little cones, right? And they're made out of silicone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they look like almost like, So here's the thing. One of the services that I provide is cosmetic acupuncture and cosmetic cupping services. When you cup your face, it's pretty much doing the exact same thing. And I'm going to be repeating this right through our podcast. We are invigorating the flow of qi and blood to the area, right?
Yes.
We want to bring blood to the area so that your skin looks rosy and healthy from the inside out. A lot of the times when we say you have a glow from the inside out, why do you have that glow? It's because you've got good circulation in your face, you've got plenty of oxygen flowing there, and the skin is nice and healthy. Facial cupping promotes this phenomena in happening, right? Now, there are a lot of misconceptions out there. I see a lot of social media forums claiming that it can pretty much solve the wrinkle problem. It can't. I think to an extent we always have to be realistic about this, right? We're not talking about plastic surgery results. We're talking about a more holistic, gentler, healthier, and safer approach to the overall health of your skin, including the skin on your face. Is there a technique? Yes, there is a technique. And can you do any real harm? Not really. I mean, if you leave a cup, like I seen a girl leave a cup on her forehead,
Oh
and
no.
she didn't move it. She just left it there, and when she popped it off, of course, just like any other place, there was a tiny little circle. But I would say that would be the extent of the of the danger, because these cups don't have the power or the
Yeah.
suction to break skin. So you'll pretty much just give yourself a little hickey in the most most awkward spot, on your face.
Right.
The technique you would use with these cups would be the slide cupping. So where you would create the suction and the tension, and then you would slide the cup usually upwards and outwards
Right.
to give yourself a temporary lift. or to give yourself a bit of a plumping of the skin. Again, this would be a temporary kind of effect, but in essence, if you were looking at the deeper level, what you're trying to do is you're trying to invigorate blood flow and chi flow to the area, just like you would if you were going in for a massage. The same kind of deal, right? So
Right.
yeah,
You
yeah.
said
So it's not like a
temporary.
holy. It's temporary because
How
you
long
might
would it be?
well, I've seen people be able to sculpt their skin. So, okay, here, let me.
Because
I
there's
don't
also
want
gua
to.
sha, and it's very similar techniques as well.
Exactly.
And that's
So,
also very, very popular.
very popular and very similar. We'll talk about gua sha in a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're almost cousins. They're almost like siblings, almost, right? Cupping and gua sha. Tiny bit opposite. Cups suck up the fascia and skin, and gua sha pushes the fascia into the body. So just opposite ways of doing the same thing, pretty much, right?
Mhm.
So what is temporary? If you're looking for that plumpness of the skin, that's going to be temporary. That's going to be maybe a day or so, I would say. However, what would be long-term and permanent improvements? Well, if you do regular facial cupping, if you do regular cosmetic acupuncture, if you do regular gua sha or jade rolling, this helps invigorate the blood flow and oxygen flow. It also helps strengthen collagen matrix of the skin. Yeah, so if you're looking to prolong the health and youthfulness of the skin on the face, on the neck, on the décolleté area, you can definitely use cupping, gua sha, and especially cosmetic acupuncture to do that. And we do this by creating microdermabrasions to the skin, and again, getting the body to work for itself.
Right.
Yeah, and
ladies, you heard it here first.
There you go. Right?
You heard it here first. No need for that
makes
Becca
sense.
highlighter and all that
I know,
stuff.
right?
Just go get some facial acupuncture,
Yeah,
cupping, or gua sha. Because you know what? You can't get plastic surgery on your neck.
No, you can't. I mean, you could. I mean, I've heard of these neck
clip
lifts.
your neck back,
You can't clip your neck back, and
No.
unfortunately, and even acupuncture. Again, I would never lie to any patient. It isn't the holy grail. It isn't a fountain of youth. But what we are doing is we're helping your body support itself for longer. So it is really self-care, right?
Yeah.
Cosmetic acupuncture has been called a gentler alternative to Botox, right? It's natural, it's safe. When you do it with a practitioner, like a trained practitioner, please don't do it to yourself. That in conjunction with facial cupping, facial gua sha, this will all help prolong the youthful look of your skin. But we can never reverse or stall the aging process forever. So I would never lie to my patients on that. I hope, does that make sense? I hope I didn't overwhelm.
No, that's great. I mean, for some of the ladies who are considering getting Botox,
of course,
maybe going down this route first, because you're doing it holistically is good for your body. You're like trying to regulate your blood flow and whatnot. So I think this is a better way to go than Botox. Try it out first, so then if it doesn't work, then okay, I guess Botox.
Certainly. I mean, you know what? I myself do not believe in injecting foreign substances into my body. So I would definitely try acupuncture first. And an additional benefit of coming in for cosmetic acupuncture is you're not only getting needles in the face. TCM believes in a balancing method. So we always balance the energy flow. And so while you're getting facial acupuncture, you actually do get body points as well, which help balance that energy regulation and blood flow, right? So you're not only helping your face, you're actually helping your body as well. So
Oh, beautiful.
it's a
I love
win-win.
that. Win-win, whole body, full body service.
Holistic approach. That's what I always say.
Yeah. So you did mention gua sha, and I would love to touch more on this one because I feel like, as you said, it kind of does the opposite of cupping, but it delivers the same result. Like,
Exactly.
why would you choose one over the other, and like, when would you use one over the other?
When would I use one? Okay, so as I said, they're almost like siblings, cupping
Yeah.
and gua sha. At least that's the way I understand it. The techniques used to apply the modality is different, right? So cupping, you are sucking the skin and fascia into a cup, whereas
Yeah.
gua in Chinese means scrape or slide, and sha means until the area is red. So we're pushing into the body and we use different tools. It's essentially scraping the area to invigorate that blood flow. We're again causing microderm abrasions to the skin. Again, we are encouraging your body to heal itself from the inside. Again, gua sha is used very similar to cupping for musculoskeletal issues. So if you came in with a sore back, we could scrape the back. Now, scraping sounds really aggressive. And I'm not going to lie, if you look at gua sha, you will see we're not only looking to make the skin slightly red, we're looking for pitycaria. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but pitycaria is the tiny little red dots that you see when you scratch your skin.
Yes.
We're looking for that reaction in the skin, right? What we always say when we see that reaction is that any place that reacts that way is where there is a limited oxygen and blood flow to the area. So again, we use it as a diagnostic tool. That would be the place that needs a little bit of extra love and care. We might cup it after, we might needle it after, we might massage it after, but I guarantee you this, the body never lies. Any part that flares up that way, when we ask the patient, that is the area that hurts them the most, right? Or that's the area that they're coming in to get fixed.
Right.
So gua sha, again, in my personal experience, I would say that even though I was not exposed to Chinese medicine growing up, I remember my granny using gua sha for very particular treatment on myself. And my grandmother was not a TCM doctor. She was Chinese.
Yeah.
And this was just something that was taught to her by her mother and her grandmother. So what they used to do is she would take a little copper penny and scrape my back. So up from my neck down my back, and she would do it when I was little if I had a fever. And I don't know if many patients have told me that, oh yeah, I remember my granny doing that too. Basically, what she's doing is she's releasing the toxic heat in the body. And I don't know if you've heard this this saying. It's called sweating out a fever.
Yes.
Yes. So when your granny goes ahead and scrapes your skin like that, she's opening up the pores. Oftentimes my granny would do that. She would dump me in a hot tub with hot water, and then she would bundle me up and she would make me sweat out the fever. In Chinese medicine, when a practitioner does this, especially if you come in with a cold, a cough, a fever, what we're doing is we're releasing the exterior and helping you sweat out the fever. It's fascinating, right?
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
I've seen people, like when I was back in Hong Kong, I've seen people use those ceramic soup spoons.
Yes. Oh
The
yeah,
glass
you're
spoons.
totally right. Yeah.
Those glass spoons. Oh man, does it look painful?
It
It looks
does.
so
It
painful.
does.
And like, cause the guy that's actually getting it looks really painful.
Oh my gosh. So
They
here's
must
the
be doing
thing,
it wrong.
right? No, it's not. You know what? So it's so funny. So it's this is a cultural difference, right?
Mhm.
What I will tell our patients and our listeners today is that here in Canada we are heavily regulated,
Yes.
which means that the aim is not always pain. The aim is to get the patient better.
Yes.
Most times, and I can speak from experience myself, and I think I've done guasa on Andy and perhaps even on yourself a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
We're not looking to hurt you. Guasa can often feel very relaxing. Oftentimes, I don't have to press very hard to get the reaction. If your muscle is tight, it will go red all by itself. I use a little bit of oil, and then we just slide the ceramic spoon. I actually use ceramic spoons in my practice as well. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Does the same thing. It's a smooth edge that glides over the body part,
Hmm.
and it doesn't have to be painful at all. I know that in China they do it very aggressively, and I
Yeah.
have heard patients say that it wasn't the most pleasant experience. But I think that's more up to the practitioner, and not
Yeah.
really and the techniques that they use, and not really the treatment itself. The treatment itself, again, most people find gua sha extremely relaxing. I think you had mentioned when you first came to me, I let you try every modality, right?
Yes.
I do this on purpose so that the patient can then tell me which modality works best for them. Most of my
Hmm.
modalities work towards a common aim, so it doesn't really matter which one I use. What matters is which one speaks to the patient the most. And this is where I
Yeah.
say my treatment plans are very holistic, and they're always done in partnership with the patient, because
Yeah.
my aim is to get you better, not to cause you as much pain. Pain is never the end game, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did experience gua sha with you, and I have to say, like, it also just felt like a massage. It was very
it
pleasant.
does.
I really enjoyed it. I think the only thing that was I can't even use the word uncomfortable because it wasn't uncomfortable, but I was just more so nervous, was probably just the acupuncture part. Now, with
I
that
know.
said, like, would you always have to use acupuncture, or can you use, I don't know, maybe dumb question. Like, can you
No,
use like
there
gua
are no dumb
sha or
questions.
cupping in place of acupuncture for treatments like fertility, or for, I don't know, for irregular periods, or muscle pain? We know it definitely helps solve that issue, but for like
Yeah.
more like, for like emotions, for example, that you also mentioned, can it be in
Yeah.
place of acupuncture, or is there like nothing that can replace acupuncture, because it is actually penetrating into your skin?
Into your skin. So each modality that we use has a varying degree of efficiency and
Mm,
effectiveness, right? You're right. For anything musculoskeletal, if you came in and asked me for just cupping or gua sha or even shiatsu and tuena massage, I'd be like, yeah, let's go for it. And you would probably feel the same effects, perhaps, right? However, for anything deeper, for anything systemic, things like fertility or digestion, emotional, I would have to say, and this is maybe just my own experience
yeah.
as a practitioner, I would say that needles are the way to go. The other modalities can help and assist. But if you are talking about your biggest bang for your buck, needles would be the way to go. In fact, I would even go one step further. I would say if it was very acute, very chronic, or very deep set issues, you might want to go a step further. You might actually want to seek out an herbologist and get some herbs, because herbs go even one step deeper, right? It goes deeper than just the skin and muscle layer. It's actually
Yeah.
going right into the body. So each modality is effective in its own way and it's for its own purpose.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're asking specifically about things like fertility and stuff, I would say, yep, definitely needles, definitely moxa would be a little deeper, depending on
Hmm.
the issue. Cupping and guasa, in my own practice, I would use it more for musculoskeletal relief if I was doing it all
Hmm.
by itself.
No, that's good to know
That's good.
because, you know, for guys, I feel like they probably would enjoy cupping and gua sha more
Yeah.
than perhaps acupuncture. So, yeah, no, that is perfect. I kind of have this random questions round,
Yeah, of
per
course. I
se,
love it.
where I have all these random questions that maybe in the Western culture is deemed to be very healthy,
Okay.
but I kind of want to see what it means in a traditional Chinese perspective.
I will try
So,
my best, Ginny. I will
yeah.
try my best to answer.
So the first one, I feel like you kind of answered this just now, but my first question was, are there any differences between doing these types of treatments and taking herbal medicine? Like, which is better and should they be done together?
I always say, whenever possible, especially for chronic or systemic issues, herbal medicine would probably be the most effective. And I'm saying this even as an acupuncturist who cannot practice herbs because I'm an RAC. If I wanted to give out herbs, I would have to be a TCMP, which is a level higher in education. But as I said, I never lie to my patients. There are times when herbs are the most effective way of going about doing things. And at times like that, I have no qualms in referring my patient to an herbologist to get them that help, right? It really depends, though. There are many conditions where Chinese herbs rarely taste very nice. I know this from personal experience.
Me too.
You can get them in pill form for sure, but they can be expensive. There is obviously a financial component to it and budgets and stuff. So I will say that there are many conditions that can be effectively treated with just acupuncture. There are many conditions that can be effectively treated with just cupping or guasa or even body work like shiatsu and tuena massage. But if you were looking for those systemic things, like let's say a patient comes in, she has amenorrhea, which means that she hasn't had a period for many, many months. And no matter how much I work with her with needles and moxa, we aren't able to stimulate that blood production. Well, in that case, I might refer her out to an herbologist who might help her, give her that extra little nudge, right?
Right.
This would be case by case basis. It would again be a diagnosis by me, an ongoing conversation with the patient, and then connecting with the herbologist as well. So, yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer.
No, but I mean, it makes sense because like we're all busy and you can't go to treatments like twice a week. Like it's asking a lot for people to do
It
so.
is.
So, I mean, in between treatments, if you were to take herbs, that would be the best way to kind of maintain and prolong your treatment as well.
100%. Yeah.
So it makes complete sense, I think.
And there could be homework too. I'm not going to lie. I completely agree with you. Acupuncture is not a cheap therapy. And unfortunately, at this time, it is not covered under OHIP. Things might change in the future. Who knows, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
But of course, there's always that bottom line to keep an eye on. If you came to me, for instance, let's say you hated herbs, you didn't want to take them for sure, and you can't come to see me twice a week. Well, it could be something as simple as many practitioners will sell you one of those moxa sticks that I was talking about. They look like little cigars. We would explain to you how to use them, and you could self-administer your own treatment in between sessions with the acupuncturist. We could also teach you how to do tapping, so acupressure or tapping, right?
Episode, yeah.
Exactly. And these could be very effective ways of self-care as well that the patient can do for themselves between treatments.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There's always a way.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad there's always a way.
Yeah.
So the next question is, as I was growing up, so when I was young, my parents always told me to cover up. But I love wearing shorts and like skirts when I was young.
Me too.
Always like, oh my God, you're bearing your knees. You know, you're going to get really weak knees when you're old because all the cold and wind is going to get into your knees. And I was like, what?
I know. You know, it's so funny, right? Because my granny would say the same thing. And I honestly thought that, you know, that's just old world craziness, right? No one really believes that. But perhaps I can shed a little light on the thought process
Please.
behind it, because now that I've
Yes.
studied Chinese medicine, it makes a lot more sense to me. Okay.
Okay.
So we believe that your body is, even from a Western perspective, it's got all these pores, right? You're covered in pores. And through these pores in Chinese medicine, we believe that the body can be attacked by external evils. Now, what are these external evils? They can also be called external pathogens.
Yeah.
These external pathogens can be heat. They can be dampness or wetness in the form of rain or humidity. They can be cold. They can be wind, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, the only way these external pathogens can enter the body are through orifices. So your mouth, your ears, your eyes, down there, your private parts, of course, but also the pores. And if your body is not strong enough, your pores could be left open. You can be left vulnerable. There are certain parts of the body that are more vulnerable than others. So, for example, we always say the back of the head, so the nape of the neck, is
That's
vulnerable
what my
to
mom
external
says too.
pathogens. Exactly. And your mom's totally right. I used to think, I used to laugh at it as well, but now I get it. And I see the practical applications of this.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand it to know that it's true, right? So the back of the neck, they say, is always vulnerable. The back of your knees, they say, is vulnerable. And then I remember my granny used to say, don't wear on short skirts because the cold and the damp will get in through your, I don't know if I can say this, but your private parts, right? Down there. So any orifice, pretty much. Once these external pathogens get into the body, they can oftentimes cause blockages. Remember how we were saying acupuncture helps with moving qi and blood? Well, if these pathogens go in and they cause these blockages, then we don't have that circulation of energy, of blood. And that's when you start coming in with things like a headache. Oh, you've got a headache at the back of your neck. It might be because there is a blockage of energy there, right? Causing that pressure. The back of the knee is very important to know that the back of the knees is connected to our kidney system. So we say that the kidney system, and this is just, it might be a little too much for this session, but I'll tell you really quickly. In Chinese medicine, you have to take what you understand of the organ systems from a Western perspective and kind of just bend your understanding of that, right? There are many similarities, but then there are many ways that Chinese medicine explains things a little differently. So our kidney system, from a Chinese perspective point of view, is in charge of storing our original essence. Now, the closest way of describing original essence would be the DNA that you get from your parents. And this can come in the form of sperm and egg, right? And then it comes together and it creates this essence that we then store in the kidney. This essence is basically a one-time deal. You're born with it, and then the minute you're born, your clock starts ticking. So you can think of it as your biological clock, and the battery life just keeps going down and down. The kidneys are connected to the back of the knee. So we say if you expose the back of the knee, you can get external pathogens that go in there. You'll feel coldness, tightness, weakness in the back of the knee, which could be an indication of your kidneys suffering for whatever reason, right? So yeah, you could have the lower back is another place that you have to keep covered. Stomach, the area, the abdomen, lower abdomen for ladies especially, we need to keep that. So unfortunately, no Britney Spears midriffs showing or stuff like that, especially in the cold and in the, especially if you're trying to get pregnant, because you want to keep that oven warm for the bun in the oven. You want to keep the oven warm, right? So so
oh my goodness,
in the winter,
I'm sure people can't see my face, but my mouth was like wide open and I was shocked.
Does that make a little more sense?
The knees connects to the kidney, and I wear like bicycle shorts all the time. God damn, I need to stop.
You can wear them on in the summer. I always say, I would be so hypocritical if I said that I wouldn't wear on a short skirt or shorts or bare my midriff or wear on a bikini. But you have to be mindful the older you get, and especially if you're trying to get pregnant or something like that, what times of the day, what times of the year you're really bearing all of that. So in the winter, in the rainy season, don't walk out with wet hair, because that falls right over your occiput, and you might get sick. You might catch a cold through there, a head cold, for example. Keep your back covered, keep your tummy covered, keep the back of your knees covered, especially in the winter. Yeah. Keep the soles of your feet covered.
Yeah, that was also one of my questions. Like, as in, after you wash your hair, like, why do they always ask you to blow dry your hair? So I guess that's part of the reason, because you could catch a cold that much easier because it is wet.
You're getting it, Jenny. You're getting it, because wet hair, you're not only opening the nape of your neck, which is vulnerable to the wind, you're also opening it up now to like the dampness, right? So you don't want those two things to go in there. And oftentimes you will see this yourselves. You don't have to have any background in Chinese medicine. If you walk out on a windy day with wet hair, you will then be coming to me as your acupuncturist and saying, oh, I have a terrible headache, or my neck has locked itself into place and I cannot move it. And it's because you've created a blockage, because you've opened up this vulnerable area to the elements. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, yes, it does make sense. Actually, my last question kind of got to do with taking a bath as well, but this one I think is more geared towards, you could say athletes, but some people, like regular people, do it too, and they take cold showers. Now, I know oh my gosh, I see your cringing
no,
face.
No, not at all, not at all.
Because they're like, oh, like it helps with blood flow, which I was like, I thought it was weird, because, you know, we're always encouraging warm stuff. Yeah. And warm stuff is supposed to encourage blood flow, not cold showers. It also said that it reduces muscle soreness post-workout, and it even boosts weight loss. I know that's like kind of really popular amongst athletes in the Western culture. What's the TCM take on that?
I've heard of this too. And as I said, when I was younger, I was a competitive athlete myself. I come from a family of competitive athletes. So we're swimmers and sprinters mostly. So I am familiar with the concept of an ice bath, or, like an ice bath is when you fill up your bathtub with iced water, sometimes even with ice cubes, and you literally immerse yourself, or a very cold shower. Sometimes I've heard athletes alternating cold and hot showers. So from a Western perspective, I don't know. Like, I mean, when I was an athlete, I was always told to only use a cold compress if you had an acute injury. So let's say I was sprinting, because I was a sprinter, and oftentimes I would twist my ankle. Well, in order to bring that swelling down, and as of course, anyone who's twisted their ankle, they know it not only swells, but the area gets quite hot, right? Like you feel hot and swollen. Well, a cold compress will be an immediate relief to that heat, and it'll help with the swelling and the inflammation. But you should not leave a cold compress on for much longer than that initial period, especially from a Chinese medicine point of view, because cold will create obstructions and blockages in the body, right? So you can think of it as, I don't know, I don't want to confuse too many people, but you could actually create an energy blockage with cold. It could constrict the blood vessels. From a very Western perspective, cold can constrict blood vessels, which can then constrict blood flow to the area, and there you go, you've got circulatory issues, right?
That's interesting.
Cold on joints are just not a good idea. So if you think of older people with arthritis and they go out in the cold, you will see that it actually hurts the joints even more, right? So in Chinese medicine, we say heat over cold, unless it is an acute injury and you're only using it to reduce the inflammation. But heat will definitely encourage more circulation than cold. That's why we go into the sauna. We use saunas because it increases circulation, right? And
okay, so I mean, just hearing the fact that you said the wind and the damp and all the evil pathogens can penetrate through your pores, like just by wearing shorts. Dunking yourself into
Yeah.
cold ice baths, it's like dunking yourself into an evil pathogen. Like you're surrounded with it now.
Exactly. And for long periods of time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I think if you do it for long periods of time, the body will tell you itself that it's not a good idea. Yeah. But to each their own. I feel
Yeah.
if you came to me, I would definitely, I always say, imagine a pathogen like a block of butter. So butter in the fridge solidifies and becomes hard. So you can imagine a pathogen going into your body, becoming solidified and creating obstructions. And cold keeps the butter hard, so the obstruction remains. However, if you apply heat to butter, it melts it, makes it more fluid, and can help the body flush it out. So that's what heat does, right? So I'll always say, you'll always see a person who comes in with period pain,
Yeah.
uses heat on the lower abdomen, and that's a lot better. Yeah, I'm always team heat.
Yeah.
I say drink hot fluids, eat warm cooked foods, keep yourself covered, and you will live to be 100. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I mean, I think we covered a lot today. It was a lot for everyone to take in, I'm sure.
I'm so sorry. I'm overwhelming, I know.
No. I love all of the information that you've provided. But for those of you guys that actually made it to the very end, like, you did it. You did it. And I hope you remember that we actually have an announcement to make at the end of this episode, which is we're going to give you a giveaway. Yay!
I'm so excited.
So Desiree was so nice to help provide us with a free treatment session, and she's also going to provide you with a initial consultation. So you would actually get to know your health a little bit better before proceeding with the treatments, just so you can experience for yourself firsthand on all of these methods we just talked about. Because honestly, it was very calming and soothing when she did it. So I hope the winner would actually feel the same way too.
Thank you.
And just, experience it firsthand. Why not? Unfortunately, this is only available in Toronto because Desiree is situated in Toronto. But
Right.
if you're interested elsewhere, do let me know too, and maybe we could do something in the future there as well. But why would you want to sign up for this contest? I think it's for many reasons that we just listed. For those who might be going through like emotional turmoil or like just in a not so good mental state. For those of you who are having irregular periods or want to get fertility treatments, maybe you're trying for a baby, male or female.
Yes.
For those of you who are athletes who are working out consistently and have like muscle pains and everything, but in general, just to boost your circulation and to balance your chi, I think is very important. I think everyone should really sign up for this contest and just see firsthand and experience it. So what you have to do is super easy. You just have to like the Instagram post, comment on if you ever had these types of treatments before, tag a friend, follow the Kuko IG page and also Desiree's IG account as well. And that's it. And you're entered. I will definitely announce when I'll make the draw. And yes, that is all for today. I really want to thank Desiree for such a thorough explanation. And I hope to see you all in the next entry.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Bye, everyone.
If you like this episode, please give it a like. If you would like to hear future episodes, please subscribe. Or if you have any questions about health, please send me an email at kuko.health@gmail.com, which is kuko.health. If you just want to say hi or drop me a DM on Instagram, come follow me. at kuko.health, which is again KUKO.health. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and please stay warm and healthy out there, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.